The pressure washers have arrived. Wow. Look at that. That's our first pressure washer. Oh, wow. Oh, look at that. The high pressure detailing gun.
Premium foam cannon.
The soft tip nozzles.
Yeah.
They look cool. Oh, they nailed the colors. Sick. Look at the detail in these things. Ah! Yeah. Extender wand. Oh, baby. That's sick. So stoked with that. I was so nervous about this, eh?
It's actually turned up. Perfect.
Like, look at that. Like, can you see that in the sun? The premium foam gun. Clip that straight onto the end of there. Bob's your uncle. This is our non-tangle hose. Plug that guy in the front. Boom. Happy?
Oh, yeah, real happy.
So good. Like on the nozzles, salty up there, and then it's got the degrees on the other side.
Bro, it's unreal.
The very first pressure washer. Stoked. So stoked with that. The Pressure Pro 2500, all packed in the BT50. We're gonna head up to Bribie tomorrow. We're gonna get this thing absolutely covered in salt and sand. We're gonna take it home and we're gonna put the new pressure washer to the test. So come for a ride. We're going to Bribie. Let's do it. I think she's salty and sandy enough. Let's take her home, give her a wash. Right, we've been up the beach at Bribie Island today. We've taken the Aspen Mazda BT50. She's all sandy, salty, and we're at home now with the Detail Pro 2500 Salty Captain's new pressure washer. Let's take a look inside and see what you get. So, first up you get the Big Loads Pro. Plug straight into the pressure washer. There you go, it's already set up. You don't even need to do anything. You just pull that straight out of the box. We've got the high pressure detail gun. We've got the 0 degrees nozzle, the 25 degree nozzle, 15 degree nozzle, and the blue one for 40 degree nozzle. The long lance, that also connects onto the end of here. We've got the unit. All you need, the only tool that you'll need to put this together is a Phillips head screwdriver, and that's just to screw on this little part down the bottom here. Finally, the 15-meter hose. I'm pretty sure in most standard ones you get maybe 5 meters. It's just not enough. All we've got to do is you've got your instruction manual here. So it's got how to put this unit together, and it comes with the little garden hose nozzle attachment like that. So you can plug your garden hose in. Simply just screw it on like that. Some little screws that you'll see that come with the unit like that, and that's going to be so we can put the handle on like so. That just slides in like that. That goes into the bottom like that. There's another one here. Make sure that's nipped up tight. And that should hold that handle in there. This attachment here, which is to hang the hose, this comes in and sits in just like that. Just screw that in the back there. And then you've got 3 extra sets where you can store these in the back here like that so you don't lose them. You'll have 2 ends that look like this on both ends of this hose. This clip here clips onto the end of one of the ends of the hose you choose, and then the part that doesn't have the quick connect on it just plugs straight into the bottom here. Boom, like that. Now you're ready to plug that in, and that's that set up. We're going to take the garden hose, plug it into the back of here, switch your hose on. This machine, you're going to see 2 dials. One's for soap and one's for on-off. The big one where it says off and on, that's for switching the machine on, obviously. I just turn this all the way down and then switch that on, let it prime, and then now we've got pressure. To get started, I'm going to clip on the extension so we can start from the top down and put my nozzle on here. reason we want to get rid of as much of the sand with the pressure washer as possible is because when we come to give it a good wash with the agitation with our microfiber hand mitt, we're not going to be scratching salt and sand into the paintwork. So we'll just get rid of all the sand. See, with this nice thin narrow nozzle that I can also adjust, it's got the 360 ability to adjust it. I can get all the way in here right in the chassis and get all amongst the other parts that you wouldn't normally be able to get a pressure washer into. And then the luxury of being able to pull this off, clip that back on, and you can get in some even tighter spots where you can't bend a long pole around. Look at this, look how far I can get around the car. Look where the pressure washer is. I'm all the way here. And look at those little kinks. Those little kinks, watch this. Boom, boom. And I can get all the way around the car with the pressure washer all the way over there. Look at this. I don't even need to pick up the pressure washer and move it. See? Look at that. Right, let's get into the cleaning. 4-wheel drive and RV wash, loaded full of anti-rust and corrosion inhibitors. So that's perfect after a beach trip. Fill this up to roughly about 800 milliliters, and then throw about 100 mils into there, like this. Give it a little shake. And then all you gotta do, plug that into there. Now, soap settings. Soap settings are on top. This here, all the way to the left, is no soap. And then you've got your foam settings. See the mouth there? Closed, open. So when it's closed, it's gonna squirt out the top, squirt out the bottom. So we wanna kind of open it a little bit. So that's no foam. So it's not going to pull much foam through that at all. And then all you do to turn the foam up is crank it all the way like that. And then we hit the 4B like this. Start from the top. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to do a bit of a pre-rinse. This is just to loosen any of the salt, start dissolving that salt and loosening that up so we can move it off the surface and onto the ground. So we're just going to pre-rinse, soak the whole car, all up under the wheel arches, and then obviously you've got some spots under here that you won't be able to reach, so I like to narrow that down. Start wide, narrow it down, and see if you can get it all in here. Right, and here's another little hack that we've got is clip that extension back onto the handle, and then you can throw the foam gun on top of here. So it makes it a little bit easier to get into tricky places like up here. Or under here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let that do its thing for about a couple of minutes. You want to make sure the sun's gone, because if you do this in the sun, that's going to dry out way too quickly and it's not going to give the chemicals a chance to actually do its thing. So we're going to do this in the shade, and we're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes, and we're going to come back and we're going to rinse it all off, and then we're going to give it a quick hand wash, and then we're done. We'll put the 15 back, and we might take a 40 so we can show you the difference between a 40 and the 15. So click the soft nozzle back on. Now this is going to be a lot softer. Start at the top again. Last thing before we pack it away, give it a quick hand wash. 100 mils of this. Nozzle on. Salt doesn't always like to be just sprayed. There you get some stubborn crystals that need to be agitated and physically moved from the surface. So we just hit it with our hand mitt, make sure we get it all out off the surface, and then we don't get those dry water spots. So this is how drip dry works. Super, super simple. All you do is you take your foam gun. So we've got the Big Loads Pro, snap that open, fill this back up with water. Same amount as what you did with the full dry wash. 800 mils, 900 mils, roughly about 100 mils of drip dry. So that goes in here. Give it a little shake up. Back onto here. And now the aim of the game with this one, again, no sunlight, no hot vehicle. Vehicle's got to be super cool, otherwise this is going to react. And if you don't follow those instructions, you might get some water spots and some weird spotting on the car. So make sure the car's cold and make sure you do it in the shade and make sure you rinse it off straight away. So this is how we do it. Spray it all over. What you can do as well is you can spray it underneath here. And it will help protect. I like to do that the day before we go out four-wheel driving, because this is a water repellent. So it will help repel salt water and it will help prevent the salt from sticking. So by the time you get back to the place where you started, it's time to rinse it off. So click back on your nozzle. Look at that. This is how drip dry helps. Look at that, the water just beads straight off the surface. Get the bulk of the water off by the weight of itself. Look at that, all those droplets. The majority of, this works very similar to a ceramic coating. It just doesn't have the hardening properties. Once you've done that, grab your towel, and it makes drying a whole lot easier. Like that. We can get around the whole car without getting a soggy towel. Pretty good. So that was actually the first time that I've used the final product, that any of us have used the final product. We had our test products, that was amazing, but for the final production to come together, I know the rest of the boys at Salty Captain, they're super stoked with the way the packaging looks, the final details, all of the little details that we put into this product came to life. Super stoked with that. Even more excited to get these in the hands of our customers, you guys, and see what you guys think. So, middle of June, get on it.